Good afternoon, guys, and welcome to the Ferret Hutch. It's another tabletop video today, mainly because it's absolutely hoofing it down outside, absolutely hoofing it down, and I'm working away most of this week. So what I thought I'd do is get a video in that I could put out while I'm away. I'm going to be away most of the week, stuck in digs. More's the pity, but such is the nature of my job. I have to travel around to different places. So the theme of today's video is mess burners, or mess stoves, and things that I've made, solutions to potential problems I've come across. And I'd like to shout out the inspiration for this video, and of course it's Wiltshire Man Sandy, because he's another exponent of the meth stove. I like meths, it's just easy for me. Don't get me wrong, I've got a Jetboil 2. In fact, it's the Highlander Blade 2, which is quite good. I use petrol stoves, I use wood as well, but if you think about where I live in the Peak District, we've got quite a lot of coniferous plantations and also the peaty soils, so open fires and things like that are a little bit more difficult to do because of the fire risk. In fact, where I live, there's been a large moorland fire recently, and there are every year. Anyway, so without further ado, let's get into these stoves. The other thing is, I'm wanting some advice, guys, so if anybody out there can tell me about this particular stove I'm going to show you, I'd be happy to learn what you know. So the first mess stove I have is the Tonka stainless steel burner. I picked this up from Tamarack Outdoors, I think. Previous to this, I used a Trangia burner, but I lost it, so I had to replace it, and this is what I replaced it with. The only modification I've made at all is the addition of some tape to make it easier to get the lid on and off. They are prone to leakage apparently, although mine hasn't yet. And what I have also ordered from the internet is the simmer ring to go on, because using the main lid as a snuffer obviously damages the rubber seal on the inside. So I didn't really want to do that, and it's quite expensive. It's quite wasteful leaving your mess to go out every time. So that's my main go-to one, if you like. The first one I made, inspired from the internet years and years and years ago, it was a pop can stove. Didn't bother with any tape to seal the two halves together. It does work very well. It works exceedingly well, actually, and of course it weighs absolutely nothing. And I will get this out again and on another brew and a bimble, or even my next overnight camp, which close to coming. I'm quite happy with my fitness now, and I'm quite happy to start getting out and wild camping. In fact, what's today? I'm going to the lakes on Monday. That's the plan. I'm going to the Lake District on Monday, and I'm taking the canoe. So hopefully I should have some video footage for you of 4 days in the lakes when I get back. So yeah, it's a shakedown trip we're doing to try out my new Hellsport Lavu, and also get the wood burner up and running inside that as well, just to see how it goes. So anyway, pop can stove. In fact, it might even be a beer can, but yeah, easy to make. The next stove I use on a regular basis is made out of a water bowl. These are two different halves, as you can see, but you cut the top off, you cut the bottom off, turn the two round, and you press one into the other. And this is pretty good as well. However, what I've found is it's not very economical with methylated spirits, and it tends to fly through them, and it is quite wasteful. Although it has to be said, on the day I used it, it was quite windy, and the stove I was using was one of those Lixada fold-up wood stoves that you put together, which is that high, that wide. It's the bigger type, and if you remember the video, I had to stand this on a rock to get to the bottom of the pot, and it was quite windy where we were, even though I had a windshield up, and it was quite uneconomical with a Meths. So those are the 3 stoves that I use. That's the go-to. That used to be the go-to, and I occasionally get this one out. As for the best performing, so far, I still think it's the Tatonka by far, but this is obviously the lightest. Anyway, we're going to look at stove stands now, so I'll bring you back once I've cleared the decks. Okay guys, so what I wanted was one single stove that would do everything, that was fairly lightweight and that could suit all my purposes. And I was looking around YouTube, this is quite many moons ago, excuse the dog shaking, quite many moons ago, and saw this. Yes, it's the it's the IKEA sink drainer stove. I have used it, but I tend to try and keep my kit really clean because I want it to last. And following the instructions that lots of people put on the internet, got an IKEA sink cutlery drainer. It might even be an Asda one, but a cutlery drainer anyway. I got a saw, cut a hole in the front. Bob's your uncle, Fanny's the close relative. I now have some kind of stove base. Obviously, when burning with these, the problem is you've got a hole in the bottom. So there's 2 ways I deal with that. One is I've got a piece of fire blanket, and I can put that down and stand the stove on top of it. Sometimes I'll also lift it up like you would do with the TP firebox, you know, where you just put it on 2 rocks or 2 pieces of wood, and then put some kind of coal catcher underneath. But it works just as well with any of the stoves. We can just obviously bob those in. If I have a pot that's too small and will drop inside, all I use, as you would do normally, is this is a meat skewer. That's all it is, a cooking skewer, and I can just put those through the holes and stand the pot on, like so. If the we'll pretend that's the pot. If the pot is narrower than this, and I actually do have a pot that nests in this quite nicely. The other use for the skewers is if I have a pot that sits on the top and I want to bring the burner up, obviously what I can do is, once again, in goes the skewer. There we go. And then I sit the burner on the skewer and it brings it closer to it. Now, one thing I did find with this is that my Alp Kit Mighty Mug, Mighty Pot, the 900ml I use, actually doesn't fit just on top. It sort of wobbles because it's just inside. The solution to that was a couple of old tent stakes, and these tent stakes are, if you look at them in profile, they're triangular, and all I do is I rest those on top. And these are steel tent stakes, and these are steel skewers, so it doesn't matter whether it's the flame of methylated spirits or whether it's the heat from wood. These should be okay and safe. So that's how I suspend the pot on top of that, or place the pot on top of that. What was important to me was trying to get everything to nest together and try and maximise that space. I wanted to use that space. The other thing I'd set myself is I wanted whatever this was to be able to fit in this bag. Now, this bag isn't actually used, or normally used for carrying things. This bag came to me as a spare part, and it's actually the waterproof covering for a pneumatic pump-up Clark's type antenna mast. But obviously turned that way up. I thought, hey, this works, I'll have that. Okay, so that was the bag. That was the requisite, if you like. Well, this sink drainer fits in there really well, and it keeps everything in one nice package. Now, the stipulation was to be able to fit everything inside there. If I've got a nesting pot, and I have got one that fits in there, it's one that I made out of an old stainless steel tea caddy with a wire bail handle that I fitted that was brake cable. But if I'm using my Alp kit pot, which I do like a lot, given the fact that the titanium transfers heat much better, what I can do with this one is whichever burner I'm using, the burner can sit in there, that's not a problem. My mess bowl, which you've seen before in previous videos, can also fit in there, not a problem. I always carry a couple of hexamine blocks. Always carry a couple of hexamine blocks. And they fit in there, not a problem. My little fire kit also fits in there. Oops. Not a problem. My lighter fits in there, not a problem. The tent stakes inside the bag go down the side, not a problem. And I've still got room on top for something like a folder cup or even some brew kit. That all goes in the bag. So that was the requisite, or one of the requisites for this. I think it's fitted that requisite quite well. Now then, whilst this stove was being produced, obviously one of the things that you get spare after you've made it, because that's the bottom of the drinks bottle, that inside's the top of the drinks bottle, and they're pushed in together. One of the spare bits you get is the centre section. Now I'm only playing with this at the moment, I've not actually used it, it's just an idea I'm toying with, and I thought to myself, hang on a minute, as a Yorkshireman, loath to throw anything away, that could be used as a pot stand. And we'll imagine this is the pot, so there you go, the pot can stand on there. Oh yeah, that'll work. However, it's just a little bit too narrow to take the Tatanka burner. It's definitely too narrow to take this burner. And what I've thought about doing is cutting up the side and just opening it. However, what it does take very well is a pop can stove, and it gives it just the right height. I think what I'm going to need to do though is drill some holes around there to provide air input, and that would make a super light cook system, super light cook system. The only thing is I can't get anything to nest inside it, but I'm sure that would fit in my pot itself with everything else, and I think this is going to be a decent system. So in a future video, what I'll do is I'll drill some holes in here, and we'll go outside and we'll give it a try, and we'll see how it actually works. Now then guys, as I bring the video to a close, because it's only a short one, this, like I said, I've got things to prepare for work, because I'm going to be away for a while, well, a week. I want to focus attention on this, because I want you good people of YouTube to see if you can point me in the right direction, finding something out about this. In one of my Bimble and a Brew videos, I've shown it used. It was the one where we went to Langsett. We went around Langsett. So it comes in this Cordura packing case or transport case. It's made in the USA. The fuel that came with it was about this size. Had a lid on the top, and you popped it off, and inside there was glass fibre wool with some kind of impregnated gel, and you lit it. And I believe it comes from something like a chafing dish or a chafing grill, so I might be wrong. Velcro closure, and when you get inside there's the two-part stove, and this is what I'm wanting the advice on, guys. This is what I'm wanting to find out from the YouTube community, if anybody can point me in the right direction as to who made this, where it came, what its history is, blah 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 blah. So we'll put the case away. In the Langsett video I said there's two parts, there's the bottom and the top, and the top goes on the bottom. What I found with it is it's super finicky to try and get these flanges here, if you can see them, those flanges there, to meet correctly with the reciprocal parts on the other side, and it does become a little fiddly, although I have used fiddlier stoves, so that's not a problem. Once it's done, it's exactly the right height for a Tatonka burner. It's exactly the right height for this, the pop can stove, because I've used it with a pop can stove before, and it's exactly the right height for this. It is stable, it is strong, and it is well made. Yeah, it's good, decent gauge steel. And as you can see, I'm giving it extensive use. I've had it about, I must have been given it in 2010. But that's as far as my knowledge goes. It was given to a friend who then gave it to me, who didn't know what it was, and said, well, I'm never going to use it, you might as well have it. One of the downsides, though, is it must be fed from the top, so it means you have to take the pot off every time. It will take wood inside, that's not a problem. It'll burn wood as well, or you can use wood in it. Like I said, those flanges can be look a bit fiddly, and what happens is you put one in and the other one pops out. Once they're all in, though, it is super solid. Yeah, and I like it. Don't get me wrong, I like it. It's light. It's probably what, 180 grams. Not even that. It's super light and super strong and well made. Love it. I do. One part goes inside the other. In fact, I'll show you. Put the Tatonka burner in there. Push that in there. That keeps the burner in place. That then goes back in the packet. In the holder, in the carry case, and you've got the top part of the carry case as storage. So yeah, do like it. Just don't know anything about it. The other thing is that you can push the inside in. Can't do it with that burner, but you can have the burner in the bottom and use it just with the burner in the bottom, and that stops the burner from sliding about, and it but gives you that lower clearance, if you like. But like I said, guys, I know nothing about it, so if anybody's got any information, any knowledge about it, please stick it in the comments below, and I'd be ever so grateful, ever so grateful. So guys, I hope you found my little video interesting and informing. I know it's a tabletop video, and I know generally the community don't like tabletop videos, but the weather is foul outside, and I don't have any waterproof filming kit yet or anything like that, well, apart from GoPro. But I do get better quality off the camera I'm using, which I've been asked about, by the way. I have been asked about this camera that I'm using by somebody who I know, who actually does filming for a living and things like that, and so he was amazed at the quality of the Samsung S6 mobile telephone, because that's what this is. Not bad, really. Anyway, I've got to go get ready for work, because I've got a long drive ahead down south of the country. So I hope this video finds you well. I hope this video finds you preparing for your adventures. Whatever your adventures are, remember, they're your adventures. Enjoy them. Enjoy them to the full. Check back with me next time. Don't forget to like, subscribe, ding the bell icon for the notifications. Ferret out.